Happy New Month. Welcome to the 8th month of the year. It's a brand new month. It's the month of August. We're excited to be here again, bringing you the biggest stories around the country in the political space and having you also share your thoughts with us when we open the phone lines. Very good morning to you. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. We're streaming live on YouTube, and my name is Olive Emodi.
And my name is Joe Hansen, welcoming you to another day on Breakfast Central. Well, it's just a duo today, the trio. Well, would it be possible because one man has got to do what Batman does, which is try to save Gotham City. In this case, try to save Lagos City in his way. But then again, welcome you to the show. There's a lot to talk about. Most importantly, take a look at us as your August visitors because it's August 1st. So it feels good to
dry
be,
jokes. That was a good one.
To be back.
August visitor.
Well, say no more. Say no
I should
more.
actually think of friends I haven't seen in such a long time and offer to visit them. And like, please be onto this house. It is your favorite August visitor.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
because
when last did I see you? You know,
August visitor visiting in August. That's
good idea. I think I'll add that to my list of to-do list for the month of August. But then again, conversations are continuing. Yesterday, we did a little analysis from the newspapers to the drawing board to try and merge and see what everyone has inside concerning what priorities the government is focused on. However, one of it was 2027. And guess what? The stories are still on. Just yesterday, you did have the son of a former governor, Kaduna State governor, who happens to have been banished from the SDP and now is trying to pitch his tent with the ADC, come out on X to say, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has a good chance to actually win the elections, but he was pointing fingers at
Peter Obi.
Mr. Peter.
He not say he has a good chance. So he said the time he had a better chance would have been 2019 elections. But that right now, the person who has the best chance is Peter Obi.
And all he needs is just to sandwich him with a strong northern
person to sort of consolidate the northern votes.
And then social media went on to try and see how they can recreate the pictures and the posters of both Mr. Peter Obi and his father, Bashir El-Rufai. And it's been a drama ever since then. But let's look at that because that's part of our wake-up conversations this morning. I don't know what you think, but I'm starting to see that we may have lost it when we start focusing on elections too early.
I think we don't have a choice. Unfortunately, that's the hand that we've been dealt, and we must play that card. You can't resist it. The political class have started to make plans and preparations for 2027. So we, the citizenry, must as well start to make plans for 2027, whether we like it or not. But anyway, we'll come back to talk about what we think about it. But let's show you the tweet that Bashir El-Rufai had put up. He says, Atiku is a force to be reckoned with. He also feels the stars have finally aligned in his favor. And although 2019 is thought to have been his best shot, this may be one of those moments meets the man. However, the sheer force of Obi's numbers and cult-like followership brings a challenge. His appeal across the youth and this younger generation is one profound aspect of his leverage. Obi, as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate, will defeat Pablo on election day before our dear mother of the nation. Please, who is he referring to as Pablo? I have no idea who he's speaking about. Until Remy finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. Anyway, that being said, that's obviously this northern person he's probably pitching would be his father. And you cannot deny the cult-like followership of Peter Obi. Peter Obi has a fan base that's spread across the board. And, you know, he has a fan base that's not just with the older generation, but also the younger generation. Yeah. The obedience movement is one that really feels like some form of a cult-like followership. And yes, he does have a strong chance. Whether or not that strong chance will be enough for him to win the elections is another thing to decide, because having the people who go to the polls, and it's not just the determining factor, as we've come to see in Nigerian elections, there are other factors that come to bear when you look at the elections in Nigeria. There's INEC. INEC has a role to play in determining the freeness and the fairness of the election. There's also the issue of electoral violence and ensuring that thugs are not manipulated to interfere with the process. And then there's also even being able to ensure that materials get there on time, that there's a real-time transmission of results. So there's several factors, but you cannot deny the strength of the obedience movement. Let's take the reactions of Nigerians to this tweet by Bashir El-Rufai. And our first reaction this morning from X says, Atiku has been contesting for the presidency since the days of Nokia 3310. And if 2019 was his best shot,
that is right.
2027 is simply a farewell tour. The so-called stars aligning doesn't change the fact that Nigerians have consistently rejected him at the polls. The electorate is tired of recycled politicians with no clear legacy beyond political maneuvering. As for Peter Obi, yes, his online fandom is loud, but elections are not won on hashtags and echo chambers. Obi's cult-like following has yet to translate to actual political structure or widespread national machinery. A strong Northern VP, please spare us. Northern politics doesn't bend to Twitter trends. The North votes strategically, not emotionally, and they don't follow noise. They follow interest. This is very, very true.
Very true.
Pablo, as we call him, has the structure, has incumbency, and most importantly, has the grassroots presence from Lagos to Lokoja to Lafia. So while Obi's supporters are trending hashtag Take Back Nigeria, and Atiku is still chasing a legacy, APC is building bridges, consolidating power, and preparing to win again. And about Auntie Remi, she'll probably be done with her morning prayers and already sending congratulatory texts to them all, including the Kaduna genocide player. Oof. Now, wow. Anyway, these are the responses. This one says, Obi will be the flag bearer. El-Rufai will not be on the ticket. The strong northern candidate will be someone else. That is basically tell him, guy, calm down. Your dad is not up for argument.
Exactly, indirectly.
With Obi as flag bearer with a strong northern candidate makes the reigning job just one. Defend the votes, that's all. It will be a mass movement. Don't bother about campaign. Just start thinking about how to collect Obi's votes. Stop APC from voter suppression or writing results with thugs and police rigging, etc. That's all. I think it was as if this person heard what I said. You know, the explanation I just gave, that's really what it was.
Yeah, the thugs and all that.
Exactly, and the other factors that win elections.
All right, Vlad the Impala. I don't know if it's Impala I wanted to remember, Impala.
Impala.
Okay, it says, it's either Peter Obi and Nasir El-Rufai or Peter Obi and Aminu Tambuwal with Abubakar Atiku backing either one of the combinations strongly, or we all are stuck.
Now, wow.
With, I don't know who they call Pablo,
I have
by
no
the
idea
way.
too.
With Pablo. Who is Pablo? That has divided this nation along ethnic tribal lines. I don't know who they're talking about, but that's what the tweet says. I don't know what they say. But Vlad the Impala says, but let's come back and look at this clearly. This conversation has risen or has caused a lot of, I'd say, stir online, on X. And if you look at it truly, Olive, who sits in the position as the strong northern candidate to a Peter Obi? That's the conversation everybody is having. So many have pointed their fingers to one place. And if this was the pawn and you're about to move it very closely to what we're discussing now, many have said the Kwankwasia. I was about to mention that Kwankwasia has such a strong moves influence with an obedient. It's going to be obedient Kwankwasia. That will be the end. Obi-Kwasia. And I saw someone say that yesterday. He said, listen, if you get a Kwankwasia movement and then you get Obi and then you merge it, that's going to give APC sleepless nights. Actually. I don't know about that though. It will, because it looks, whether or not we admit very strong though. The APC can bicker all they want and call the ADC all sorts of names, political IDPs and what have you. Yeah. But the truth is that the ADC is keeping the APC on its toes. They're uncomfortable with what they're seeing that these big political figures who each have had or still have their individual interests have decided to come together with the sole priority to topple the APCs. While we're seeing these last-minute desperate moves to assert themselves and let people know this is what we are doing, this is what we've been able to achieve. So I do believe that the APC is a bit, maybe not completely threatened, but they're definitely moved by what the ADC is doing. So if you then bring a Kwankwaso with an Obi together, that would be a lethal combination. Because Obi has a lot of influence here. You know, he has backing of young people, he has backing of the older people. And yes, he does have some support in the north. But Kwankwaso has sort of established himself in the north as a force, right? When former President Muhammadu Buhari passed, many people speculated that the reason why Alhaji Atiku Abubakar announced his resignation from the PDP a day after the mourning had officially begun, or a day after the announcement of his passing had been made, was because that was a way for him to consolidate the followers, his CPC followers in the north. Whether or not that was a successful move, we do not know. These are all speculations, right? We never can
tell if this eventually amounted into him being able to garner that level of influence. Because whether we like it or not, former President Muhammadu Buhari had supporters while he was alive, and maybe he still has some supporters.
That's right. And when the former late president died, the question was who is going to take the 12 million votes that he had promised to bring, especially the 12 million votes that he had promised. And some have said that it could have been that he left with the 12 million votes. So there's a struggle between who should actually have that 12 million votes within the northern candidates in which we're looking at. But it makes a very interesting conversation in between, whether we like it or not. And it's a conversation that we would continue to look at in as much as we have said here on Breakfast Central that the media is not really the entire, I'd say, the body or the organ that's pushing 2027 conversations. It's actually what we see from the political parties. Because then again, if the current administration is not pushing 2027, then I think they should have come out with a statement and say, hey, listen, everybody stop. Please stop. We will no longer condone any presence of billboards, posters, celebrations, or even talk to the governors and tell them, listen, I understand that, because just 2 days ago, a governor came out and said, listen, everybody, don't vote for any other person, vote for the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's going for a second term. Let's balance equations. Let's ensure that he completes his term. And people were like, excuse me.
Under the Constitution, his tenure is 4 years.
Excuse me?
Everybody else has the
power. Why are you trying
to run?
Muscle people into a corner? So these are the reasons. So when people say, oh, the media, it's not the media that's pushing 2027. No, not at all. You have the politicians who are campaigning already.
The media is just reporting what is happening. We amplify the stories that are being told.
That's it.
If it's positive reality, we amplify it. If it's a negative reality, we report what we see. So if we don't see a number of these moves happening, there'll be nothing in that light to report. But anyway, whether we like it or not, 2027 is upon us. And as the political class is making their move, we hope that you as viewers are also making your moves, are making your plans, deciding to be involved in the process, maybe deciding to join a political party. The truth is, regardless of how much change you want to see in the country, we run a system that has to work with political parties, not your individual excellence, right? If not, if it was just that, there are many individuals, technocrats, who have such sterling records. But unfortunately, if you do not get the support of a political party, you haven't started your journey. So if you want to make a change, maybe the first step will be to associate or align yourself with a political party and start to find ways to make the changes from the inside as opposed to staying on the outside and just speaking about it. But let's go outside now. We've talked about what's happening.
Because somebody's outside.
Yeah, something is
in the
outside.
cold.
And it would seem that the person is outside because her husband may have stepped outside. Or somebody is trying to make out. It's a very interesting
Friday
video.
moves.
Today is Friday, so let's just soften it. Let's, Joe, you want to introduce?
Yeah, let's take something light. So there's a video that's also making the rounds on social media. It's got to do with a married woman who, in other words, abroad, the outside of the country, and she caught a mistress who... An alleged mistress who unknowingly to her was chatting with her husband, telling him that she's ready to go. She's good to go because she was all dressed up and set and good to go. But unfortunately for her, she didn't know that the person she was chatting with wasn't the husband because the wife had taken over the phone. So she kept communicating and telling her, okay, come outside and so on until they eventually met. And she confronted her and told her, why are you doing this?
A father of three children. A father of three children. Did he not tell you he's a married man?
And the mistress was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, and so on. So let's take a look. The reactions are what got me cracking, most importanly. Okay, I'm interested in seeing what the reactions are. All right. Let's see. I don't know if we'll have that video, by the way.
They follow my husband in chat. He no say, now my phone. I deal with the phone since Oga don't sleep. He go meeting, go church. Sister, I won't see you. I won't see you. Good evening, my dear. How are you? Come this way. Come this way. This is my neighborhood. I really don't want to shout. Because since I went to Nigeria, you've been coming to my matrimonial home to sleep. I even hear say my husband changed your car. They walk while I fish and put everything. They chat when they chat this morning. I meet them with phone. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? I won't. It's just for weakness so that I'll publish you. Just to teach you a lesson. You know, say all the whole chat when the chat says, make it come, the hotel when I want go, the club when I want go, waiting go tell me, everything, the phone there with me. Since he come for church, since he don't eat, he don't tire, they sleep. They go do you.
I don't understand.
They go do you as a woman. They go do you.
You don't know who they talk about.
You dress a man will get 3 boys for house as children. A family man. He not tell you say him don't marry. He not tell you. This thing what they do so side chick, they go do you.
Mama, me, I don't know who they talk about.
They go do you. You leave your own husband. You come to a single mother. They follow another person's husband. They go do you. Now Europe, they will not fit take laws into our hands. If we dey Nigeria, you sure say this thing you go succeed.
Mama, who you dey talk about? I don't know who you dey talk about.
Not be you dey date Papa Christian.
Well, I do, Papa Christian.
Do you want to speak? No.
The only thing I want to say, she said, we did Europe, I can't take laws into my hands. If not Nigeria, if you try this one.
If I still try am.
Oh, she's trying.
If I even do pass like
Nigeria.
that. If I do pass like that.
Ah.
Do you want to speak up for Papa?
No, I can't speak up. At
This is your agenda now.
At this juncture, I don't hang.
Do you think there's a different way this could have been handled?
There's what?
A different way that this could have been handled?
So I always say you cannot control how the individual would react to it. So I can't say she should have done it this way, should have done it that way. But some people will say this is the best way. This is the best way, because others will say, no, you don't have to deal with the outsider. It's the person inside that has the problem, so you deal with the insider. But with the woman's tone of voice, you could tell that she's
in pain, angry.
Action. She's an action, woman. So that's why she went all out.
Okay, I have 2 perspectives to this, but let's take other people's reactions. Then, or do I share mine first?
Let's see theirs. Then
Okay.
we'll now ensure that we blend it with yours.
All right,
Hopefully, we have a few reactions to take. Always fighting the wrong person. If you chase this one and your husband finds another one, waiting you go do.
Mike Tyson. Valid question. You be Mike Tyson. This one says, but some men are useless, because it beats my imagination how you have a wife and be chasing other women. I honestly don't get it. What in God's name are you looking for? Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, say that I can empathize with her.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I've not been in a position where I'm married and my husband is cheating on me, and I pray never to be in that position. It's not something anybody wants. So just like you said earlier, sometimes you can't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. So I can empathize with her pain of feeling the betrayal, or feeling like this person, you are conniving with my husband to cheat me. Because she talked about having established the husband and the money that he's earning from that job that she established him with. He used it to change her car. So there's so many things. Because the job where I set for him or something like that. Say my husband changed your car. So I empathize with her, and I think that is just a very unfortunate place to be in, where you have to fight for your marriage. But I can also understand the first tweet we took, where the person says that you're fighting the outsider. That outsider is not a part of your marriage and did not make a commitment to be together with you for better, for worse. The person who took the vow is the person that you left at home, And I'm not saying this in any way to condemn or judge her, because the truth is it's easier said than done. Easier said than done, right? So as I'm saying this, I'm saying that I'm not saying this in any way to judge her, because I can empathize with what she's going through. It must really hurt. And sometimes when we're hurt, we do things that we probably did not plan for.
True.
Right. But again, it goes back to the man who hasn't been able to draw boundaries and who has disrespected his partner. The second angle to this is, I wish that as a society we will leave shame with the rightful person who should be ashamed. And I'll tell you what I mean.
What do you mean?
When a man cheats on his wife, or when a woman cheats on her husband, we make it about the partner and say things like, oh, the husband is embarrassing his wife. Look at how he's embarrassing his wife outside. And how can you be doing this, embarrassing your partner? I wish we'd actually appropriate shame rightfully to say the man is embarrassing himself, or the woman who cheated is embarrassing herself, and make people feel like, again, it goes back to the conversation we had last week about our moral compass as a society being broken. Certain things are accepted. Certain things feel normal. Some people come and argue with you that, are we not our traditional religion did not allow for polygamy?
Yes.
When you were marrying the woman, did you tell her that you were going to explore polygamy, or is it something that you sprung up on her? Because if you knew that you're somebody, and for me, it's know yourself. If you're somebody that says, it's too hard to keep to one woman. I cannot do that for the rest of my life.
Stay single.
Then either you choose to stay single, or if you are meeting someone, communicate to them that this is who I am. I cannot stay with one person for the rest of my life. I will explore several partners. Is that something you are okay with? You know, because there are people, unfortunately, the world is becoming very urban, very modern, very Western.
Yeah.
You know, and people would say, oh yeah, there are people in marriages where, say, we heard of entanglement with a certain family. That was when entanglement became a word. There are people in open marriages. I do not endorse it. I do not support that because I have a picture of what marriage should be.
Should look like.
And it's from the Bible because I'm a Christian. But I mean, you're probably the one who can speak better to this because you are the married person between the both of us.
For me, when I saw this story, I just said, you know what? It's a Friday. It's good to look at the human angle stories of what people are going through. Not every time government, or what's really happening. But that's to show that there's no respect, there are no boundaries of these actions. That's why you have people who are abroad now in that video saying, listen, if it were in Nigeria, it doesn't have to do with countries. It can happen anywhere, outside, everywhere, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what we've seen. But another reason why this video is also key for us on Breakfast is to look at the fact that aside from the government, there are other issues that are affecting Nigerians. That's outside food, clothing, security. Now, this is a different type of security. You have to now secure your family. After you've
Wow, Jonathan. Wow.
That's exactly what that is. It's sad. We're not, it's not something to laugh at, as it were. But I feel for her because she had to secure her family, move them abroad, from the challenges, and now she has to get there and now secure her family again. It's like there's no rest. It's tough.
I mean, I just feel sad. I feel sad. I think nobody deserves that. Nobody who voluntarily went into a monogamous marriage or relationship deserves to be cheated on. We don't understand how much cheating is it's a painful thing, right? Painful to the person who's being cheated on. The person who is doing the cheating, it's pleasure for you. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying the feeling of thinking you won't get caught. But this other person, it just takes one action to break this person's trust, to break their emotions. And the funny thing is, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You break them, your marriage may or may not recover from it, but they also may never heal from that lack of trust.
Sure.
And then it extends to every other person. It's why you hear a lot of women say, men are this, men are that. Because one or two men have hurt them, they then generalize. So we're just a broken set of people that are breaking other people. The way they say hurt people.
Yeah.
Trauma begets trauma, and that's what we're seeing here. I'm hoping that she and her partner will be able to have a conversation about this, maybe go for couples counseling, and that they're able to decide what they want, what the next steps will be for them in their marriage.
And maybe we'll get to also see an update if care is not taken, and so on. We do have some comments on YouTube. You can also go there and drop a comment or two. Let us know. Chukwemeka, who happens to be our number one, right there, says, Happy New Month, Olive and Joe.
Happy New Month. Thank
Then he goes ahead to talk about the other story. Atiku will not back down for anyone. Says Atiku will not back down for anyone. The reason the APC will win again. And I won't support an El-Rufai as the VP to Obi if he eventually clinches the ticket. Mind you, the president has control over the electoral body, who will always do his bidding. We don't know about that. That's your thought.
So I understand where he's coming from about the president having control, which is something that we've always said.
Yeah.
That there should be an independence of INEC. The idea of independence of INEC would be that the INEC officer cannot be appointed.
By the
it should
president.
even be an elective position. Many have argued that the position of INEC officer should be an elective position. Let the people decide who will be the electoral umpire. Because what happens is, year in, year out, things like positions like INEC officer, Chief Justice of the Federation, they would either step down one person, put a new person, and people are not dumb. They just put two and two together, or they then start to make inferences that there's an ulterior motive to that. So I can see where he's coming from when he says that. We're not outrightly saying that the president is controlling INEC, but what we're saying is, he who plays the piper dictates the tune, right? If my boss here, I know Mr. Kayode Akintemi is my MD, CEO, there are certain things that I will not be able to do because I know that, or there are certain things I will do that maybe I typically wouldn't do. Maybe I would have decided, if I was somebody that was slothful and didn't care much about my job, I would decide to come to work twice a week, just use the remaining 3 to chill. But I know that there's somebody who has employed me, and if he says to me, he gives me an instruction, I have no choice but to follow it because he's directly involved in my being here, or maybe he appointed me to be here.
Yeah.
So I see where he's coming from.
Again, Elizabeth Jones is there as well on YouTube. She says, Kwankwaso will never work with Obi or become his vice.
You see, the one thing
Kwankwaso has presidential ambition, not vice president. Yesterday, Kwankwaso loyalty went to visit Tinubu at Aso Rock. Tinubu needs Kwankwaso for Kano's vote, and it will give him APC presidential ticket in 2031. Thinking Kwankwaso will be vice president to Obi can never work.
So you know the thing is, with elections and politics in Nigeria, I'm learning never to say never.
Yeah.
Because politics and football are like, anything can happen at the last
whistle.
Do you get? Until you hear
the of the last whistle.
Anything can happen. 30 seconds to the end of the match, they can score a goal that we did not see coming. So with politics, I would never say never. And I understand why she would have such thoughts about Kwankwaso not being willing to work with Obi. But who would have seen maybe, yes, there were speculations about the ADC. But as at 2023, I don't think we could predict that there will be a coalition by 2025. All right,
the comments are coming through. Felix Okechukwu says, I will start lending my opinion about politics in Nigeria if INEC chairman is I can't really see that one. Is an elective position.
Exactly what I said.
I don't think we are serious.
Exactly.
But don't forget, let's also highlight, let's inundate our viewers that the situation of ensuring that the INEC officer, or you could say the INEC chief, let's use that word, is an elective position, has already been tabled by the Senate. They're looking at that.
I hope that's something that
doesn't have
they're
powers
able
to appoint. They're trying to ensure that they look into that. And I think the same goes for the EFCC, the ICPC, INEC,
and even the Chief Justice of the Federation. Because the truth is,
as far as I'm concerned, even the CBN.
Yes, they will tell you that the NJC is the one that does the recommendations, but the president has to approve. If we're talking about a true, total independence of the judiciary, it should be without the input of the executive. Let the NJC within itself decide who
they think. They should cast their votes.
You know, at the end of the day, they should be able to decide with or without the approval of the executive.
They should also go to the ballots. I mean, just decide, okay, who do you think?
The same way they do NBA conference every year or NBA elections and they vote for who the president should be.
That's it.
Anyway, it may not be by voting. It may not be by voting of the general.
No, not general.
Maybe
but
the
of course
body
you have
of
like
benchers.
a board, yes, a body of benchers and so on, and then they pick. Olive, I think some of these things are known already because there are people even before us, before we were born. Let me use that word, from as early as the 60s, who had foreseen these things. And I'm sure they must have tabled it at some point, but it didn't fly. Let's go to our last story for today. If you have had your car stop or your tire needing to be changed on the express in Lagos State, be it on 3rd Mainland Bridge or Echo Bridge, anywhere, mostly, especially on Lekki Expressway, then you will be able to relate to the next video we're about to play to you. A lady couldn't hold back her pain when she decided to make a video and call out the governor, Governor Sanwo-Olu, in what she called an invasion of touts. If you're tired, boss.
That's usually your cry. That's your constituency.
I always say it.
Because I know that on this show, Benga is so pro traffic lights. Every time his greatest pain point in Lagos is the electricity. But you, fogs, that's your greatest pain point. So I'm sure you
just take a look at the
video.
Around offshore Ikoyi, around 5:30 p.m., my way back to mainland. And all of a sudden, this guy came from nowhere, about 20 to 30 guys. Uncle Bomoto Muni. Alayo mate wo fuwani. Alayo 50 kilo worth of a bowl, alayo Rikuro Mise. I for cat bow to any over fine get around done what to a well, I thought first I go when I already wow, the wife of my lassa these guys made me out chills yesterday. Thank God to a good Samaritan that stood by me. You know, we called a towing vehicle. Even when the guy came, the towing vehicle gone there, when the towing vehicle gone move. Warning, the towing vehicle gone back so wo. Oh no, you kuro mbe. I'm a for a down motoni. Any hour than a motor man move. I was. We eventually moved that car like after about an hour, after negotiation, I think I end up paying like 20K or something to those guys at the end of the day. You know, what's more, but no, what's more pass what's go low, but you know, the motor so one again. Let go stay. This is it makes sense. So
that's the challenge we have in Lagos State. I'm sure there are people, I've heard on radio, people calling in and talking about this same issue. Lagos State is tagged to be a mega city.
True,
I don't know anywhere
let's
that
not
is
talk of people.
I don't know if, I mean.
Do you remember the days that I had a flat tire and I called you, you were driving behind me around 5 a.m.
Yes.
We parked on the road. These guys came that they wanted
From
to help.
nowhere.
The next thing, another man came and just said, oh, that we can't do anything.
Until you pay money.
They had removed my tire.
Yes, that
they
you
were
have
going
to
to
pay
change.
this
Now said we
amount.
have to pay. And how much were they asking for? I think they were asking for like
20,000
naira
20.
before they will start work on my car.
So before you even losing the car, you pay. Before you fix the tire, you pay. And then there are factions. While this one is working,
Another person's
another
team
one
can
will
come and
"Hey,
say,
what are you doing there? You can't do that too. On Lekki Expressway, the so-called big
I know
city.
part of why that happened. That place was incredibly dark.
And it's dark. These
No
guys, if your car stops
street
at
lights.
2 a.m., 3
Right, you are in
a.m., 4
soup.
a.m., they are coming outside. Now, the surprising thing is if your car even stops at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., I'm talking about broad daylight, they are still coming.
And what's even worse is that there have been allegations of people who say that, or allegations made by people, that sometimes they put bottles and all these things on the road to intentionally affect you, so that maybe a mile from there your car will break down and then they will just show up out of the blues. Like the worst thing that can happen to you is for your car to break down in a dark area or to break down on 3rd Mainland Bridge at night. That's the most. I know somebody who came home with literally tire rims.
Of course.
Why? He said his tire burst on 3rd Mainland Bridge. He said, I would rather drive this car home and wreck it than for me to stop on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Because when you stop there, you will lose more than that tire that you're trying to fix. In some cases, not only are they taxing you, they are robbing you.
They are robbing you. There are cases of people who have been robbed. There are cases of people who have had, they've had to let go of their mobile devices because at the end of the day, these people come. See reactions there. It's unfortunate that since the time road users are making this complaint, Nigerian police had never said or done anything about it. Arresting 1 or 2 of them will send a lesson to others. It's like a normal thing that now happens in Lagos. I hope the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is listening.
I hope so.
The same thing happened to me 3 years ago when my car overheated. Out of nowhere, about 7 guys suddenly appeared within seconds. Thankfully, there were 5 of us. This is the saving grace when you are many. There were 5 of us in the car. Who knows what could have happened if I had been alone? And that's true. Those CCTV cameras for 3rd Mainland are only to pick plate numbers to charge for overspeeding. Zero concern for security of Lagosians. Lagos State government, I dey lie, my brother.
I will lie for you.
I will lie for you. Brotherly. Let's move on to another one. If we have another one. But then again, these are the tweets. To the Lagos State Governor, His Excellency, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, please look into this. And just like the first tweet said, the police officers have simply done nothing. There were times where I must give credence and kudos to the police at some point where I did notice you had the police officers on 3rd Mainland Bridge. At every distance you would drive, you will see a police officer standing, you see another police officer. Then we had the towing vans and the police officers, they were on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. I had an e-hailing cab guy who picked me up and told me the same issue he had. He said the saving grace was that there were police officers who saw him and they drove to him. And as soon as he fixed it, they stood there with him while the boys were coming. And as soon as he was done, the police officers told him, Oga, move immediately. Move, we'll wait for you. As soon as you move, as soon as you finish, move. So the police officers are even telling you move. Olive, I don't know.
Anyway, we hope that this is something that will be looked into, that, you know, we can't deny the fact that we don't have enough policemen. While we're dealing with crime within the states, I mean, not just Lagos State, of course, it's not a jab at Lagos State. We're dealing with crime all around the country. Insecurity is a challenge. So we do not have enough people. On the other hand, the response to this that some would give would be saying, you're saying we don't have enough police officers. Every other day you're seeing escorts. We inside Lagos. But it is what it is. We'll continue to talk about this and shine the spotlight on this. But let's now share with you what our top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central.